Right, welcome back, listeners, to another edition of Heads Up. And it was a pretty quiet week last week, just with Rotorua being postponed till tomorrow, and New Plymouth just racing on a pretty heavy track. But there was some good racing, and probably the performance of the day had to be in the last race when Holly Andrew was on Sakura. Did you see that money shot with Holly Andrew in the last race there?
I did, yeah. The saddle slipped, I think, at about the 1600 metre mark by the look of it, and it just managed to cuddle the horse up and pushed it over the line and got up and won. I don't know if a horse has ever, I can't recall a horse that's won with a slip saddle before, can you?
No, I can't. So it was a pretty good performance. I was on her, and I thought, well, no, she's going to get run down and hit the lead, and I thought, well, okay, something's got to come and she's got to falter soon, but no, I kept on going. So good old Holly. I remember meeting her at Otaki Races one day and had a good chat to her, and she's a good, tough young lady, and good on her.
Overcome quite a bit of adversity in life with injuries, and also been involved in a nasty car accident that claimed the life of her friend. So, wish her every success. So, well done to her.
Yeah. And on a saddle or a note, the Warriors lost last week. Upset a few people, but not totally unexpected from some punters.
Wow, what a game that was. That's the classic game of two halves, wasn't it?
Jeez.
I said in the preview last week that Penrith, if they didn't perform and do the job for us, they'd get red carded for the season, and at half time I had the red card all ready to go, but they came back and covered the line and ran away and won pretty handsomely in the end.
Yeah, they should.
So, pretty amazing game, and certainly, I don't know, I don't think the Warriors were as bad as people are making out in that second half. Just a couple of unusual errors from Tuivasa-Sheck. Just the bounce of the ball went against him a couple of times and he knocked it on. And when a team's got momentum like that, and it's hard to stop them. So I actually think the Warriors might bounce back this week, go against the flow, but it'll be interesting to see. The Hakuares, though, let us down. They were terrible. I think they will get a red card. We will not be tipping them again this season now. They red carded. They were hopeless. Should not have lost to a team like the Force, who didn't even play that well themselves. Yeah. So the Hakuares, red carded.
Yep, they get the big boot. And last week, I remember asking you a little sports tip about what's a good way to bet during the game. And you said often that the team that is running second at half time will often close that gap more often than not. And when Penrith were, I think they were minus 12, plus 12 and a half at half time, I was speaking to my brother at half time. I said, get on the Penrith, getting a point start. And they kept on closing. I put 2 or 3 more bets on in the second half. And it was a good piece of advice. So thanks for that, and hopefully a few punters latched onto it as well. But we'll touch on that Warriors game in part 3, shall we? And
did you enjoy your day at White Bar though, Neil?
Oh, of course, yeah. Actually, it was a damn good day. I'm going to win a cross. It's a shame we didn't go and see your pride and joy, BT Junior, getting up in the very last hop. Hey?
Well, sometimes work has to take precedence, but it was good.
It's a bugger race.
You could be there, and I hope you made $1 or $2 off them. I see you tipped the quaddie that day, so that was great. A few people hopefully got a few dollars off the quaddie at least. Yeah,
if you got the quaddie, and it was good money for him too, because he was into the tote, down on the tote pretty early on, 270 to 280, and then drifted out. He ended up paying $460 final field, and about the same on the tote as well.
That's my tip of the day betting wise. Backing favourites in the gallops, or mainly the gallops. 2 minutes out. Back whatever price is the lowest. So it sounds odd if they're paying $3 the tote and $4 fixed odds. Back the tote, $3, because how many times does it then end up blowing right out to $4? Or vice versa, you think, it's only paying $3 the tote. It's $4 fixed odds. I'll back the fixed odds, and then they blow out on the tote. And so, I always have a rule now: back the one that's paying the least, and go against what everyone else is doing, and invariably you end up getting a better result 9 times out of 10, I've found. So, especially on favourites and lower price horses, obviously, when they're out at that 20, 30, 40 to 1 mark, you can probably safely bet the one that's paying higher, and you'll probably be okay. But the overcorrection friction in the market close to jump time on favourites. It's amazing. You'd be amazed to see how quick, especially in Australia, you see something paying $2.50 fixed and $5 the tote. Everyone jumps on the tote, it closes paying $2.20 the tote.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of it too in Australia is a lot of people laying on Betfair and backing on the tote to try and get the advantage there. But dead right, good piece of advice. And in part 4 too, we'll discuss a punting tip on around our favourite apprentices and which ones are worth following over the winter. But back with part 2 in a moment with a preview of a couple of really good races at Te Raupo I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
The main focus tomorrow for the thoroughbred fan will be Te Raupo with the second day of their May Carnival. We had the entrees 2 weeks ago, Neil, with the jumping preludes, but this time it's the Waikato hurdles and the Waikato steeplechase features. So the Pirates and Waikato hurdles, of course, the first day winner, Nothing Trivial, is backing up. He's at a pretty good price of double figures, $11.50. But I think you like the horse that won just last week at Hastings, Uwe. Yeah, Uwe. $3.30.
Yeah, I thought it was good value too. I did the form line for that and put Wowee at the end. It was a wow win. He was just travelling so well all the way and cruised in. And Aaron Crew is a very good rider. And I just can't see the value in Sea King at $3 on a dead track. 5 kgs difference. Aaron Kuru, he jumps really well. Top stable, Nelson stable. I thought $3.30 was good value. I'm going to have a bet on him. But what are you keen on?
Yeah, I agree with Sea King. I mean, he's torched, but I think as he's getting older, he might be better suited over the bigger fences. He of course won the Waikato steeplechase last year. Yeah. He has won the Waikato hurdles before. 2014, I think he won the Waikato hurdles. So also you'd have to question him probably on a better track too. So yeah, he's a risk for mine. Yes, definitely hard to beat. But I'll go nothing. I was impressed with Nothing Trivial's win, and a decent track again. And I thought that was a pretty good price. He's in good form. Won it. Towering on the flat. Drew out, won that lead-up race pretty impressively. So, we'll stick with Nothing Trivial.
Yep. No, it was a good one. We were at the races that day, and I was down close to the hurdles, the last 2 hurdles there, and you could see the way he just drove himself into those jumps and got over strongly. So $11.50, if you like a good price. I agree, good value. But the big race.
The Warren Storm, Life Brokers, Waikato steeplechase, dominant favourite, the Big Opal. Yep. The Dummy Myers stable got the top 2 fancies. Palermo second favourite. Then you got Fair Script, the first day winner, and Mr. Moore, who's won a few prestige jumping races in this time as well. You'd have to think the winner would come out of one of those 4.
You'd think so, but I'm going for number 6, Fair Script. I went back and had a look at his win there last time, and even though he was a rank outsider, and even the trainer didn't fancy his chances too much, I watched Sean's ride really closely, and after he jumped that last fence, about 600 metres out, he just gave him a couple of whacks with a whip. He threw his head up in the air, and he put the whip away, then he got stuck into his work and really picked up nicely. And over the last, he came strongly, and he meets Palermo better off in the weights this time. I thought, $8 is pretty good each way money. But I know you're pretty keen on the Big Opal, aren't you?
I thought he was an absolute certainty in this race. He's a very fluent jumper. He should probably dominate from the front. Got run down last start by Just Ishii. But there was a huge gap back to third, and Mr. Moore, I think he meets about 4 kilos better off in the weights from last time when he beat him by about 15 lengths. So Fannon's chosen the Big Opal over Palermo, and that's enough for me to say I think this horse will win. He was going to win the Grand National at Riccarton last season until he slipped on the flat.
That's right. Yeah.
It was just after landing at I think it was the second of the kennels double from memory. Picked himself up again, but Fannon had lost his irons and then he crashed at the last. But Yeah, I think this horse is the real deal, and he'll be winning this race for mine, I think.
Yeah, no, it sounds like
$1.65 might be a bit short, but I think he'll definitely be very hard to beat.
Yeah. With a $100,000 pick six tomorrow, people are looking for an anchor. He's probably the obvious anchor. And I think Palimo should be covered by Fair Script. Palimo sweated up quite a bit at Te Rapa, so he'll definitely improve, but I think Big Opal is probably the anchor in the pick six, and Fair Script for a backup. Good day's racing there. I'm looking forward. The prices aren't up yet as we speak, which is a bit disappointing, but there's a few horses I like there tomorrow. I've got a couple up on the website on Australia, and I see over in Australia we've got one of Aldridge's horses. Where's a Doonvan race, the last race? We've got Splurge racing. Ooh, he's come down to $4.20 now. It was $4.60 about half an hour ago. And,
You've had a bet, that's why, Neil.
Yeah, I had a little go at him, but I think he's well placed there. The forecast is for rain. That rain won't worry him. Drawn 8, Opie's on. Get to the right spot, and it's only an average field, so he does look a good bet there.
He certainly also knows how to win, that's for sure. He's won 4 of his last 5.
Yep.
And stable in form, shocking luck last week, so yeah.
Yep. No, good day's racing. I'll put up a preview of quite a few races from Saturday already, and the full preview will be up by 6 p.m. tonight. And chocolate fish, anything you like for out of those 2 races?
I'll give you a chocolate fish bet. The Big Opal will beat Fair Script by more than 10 lengths.
10 length start. That's
I'll give you 9.5 minus 9.5 lengths Big Opal plus 9.5 lengths Fair Script. Is that enough for a chocolate fish? Does that tempt you?
Make it 10.5. I can see that length might come in handy.
10.5.
Okay. Plus 10.5 length. Okay, you're on for a chocolate fish. Yep.
I think we had a scratching. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did warn you that the passing shot would be scratched last week.
Yeah, at New Plymouth. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're looking for a decent track, all right, but he's all set to win. Okay, back with part 3 with a preview of the Warriors and a little mention about maybe the darts that were played this morning. Okay, last week, as we mentioned before, most of us would have watched the Warriors do the big dive and choke when they were beaten by Penrith. But a team that's beaten like that, and the stick they've been given on the press money shot, you have to think a team like that would have to come back and play out of their skin. It'd be hard to beat tonight, really hard to beat.
As I said, I think they'll win, which will defy all the stats. I think the Dragons have won 12 of the last 13 between these sides.
Gee.
And the Warriors, something like they've only won 3 out of the last 15 games they've played in New Zealand. That hasn't been at Mount Smart, so they don't have a great record when they travel to Christchurch or Wellington or Napier, or as it happens now, Hamilton. So all the historical stats would say the Dragons, but I'm sticking with the Warriors this week. I think they've kept the same team, so the boys will know they stuffed up last week. They have to make amends this week. And the Dragons, they're missing a couple of key players, and I think they might start to struggle a bit. So, we'll stick with the Warriors, but I was a little surprised they did open favourite, so there's probably not much value from a betting point of view.
Yeah.
But we did find one overnight. I guess the team that's much like the Warriors, the Blues.
Yeah. Okay.
They're a team that can frustrate punters immensely, but I thought they're playing pretty good rugby at the moment, and the trip over to South Africa won't do them any harm against the Stormers, who did beat the Chiefs at home, but since then have been pretty ordinary in their sojourn to New Zealand and Australia, and I thought the Blues at $1.87 was a good head-to-head bet. But I think the bet of the weekend comes in the rugby league, but unfortunately you'll have to go on the website to get that one, Neil. But I think the team that I'm tipping in the league, I think can win the comp this year.
The way I've seen that team too, and I think you're right. I'm looking forward to seeing them play on the weekend. So, and this morning you saw a prime example of what pressure can do to a player.
Yeah, the Premier League darts, final. Peter Snakebite right. He was against the throw. He ended up having 6 darts to win at double, and he missed all 6. And Van Geuwen managed to win that leg to take it to 10-all, so it went to a deciding leg. And Peter Wright had the throw, but he was mentally shot after missing those darts, and he was never likely to win that final leg and succumb to MVG. So those that took the $1.45, $1.50 that we spooked a few weeks ago, you would have had heart in your mouth for a while there, but at the end of the day he did deliver. But yeah, just the mental capitulation, like you can't play for time in darts like you can in, say, soccer or rugby or league, where you can just basically wait for the clock to tick down. You actually have to physically cross the finish line in darts by getting that last double or ball to win, and Wright couldn't do it. And yeah, it was pretty compelling viewing, I thought, for Friday morning.
No, it's interesting to watch, isn't it? And then that pressure goes on. So anyway,
it's like golf, isn't it? It's a bit like golf. Sometimes you just gotta get that ball in the hole, and if you can't, the mental anguish that comes from it can be too much sometimes. So it should be a good week of sport to complement a good week of racing with Te Rapa and Rotorua on Sunday, of course.
Yeah, and it's all on that theme of sport too, with a lot of gamesmanship that goes on. I remember reading Tiger Woods' book and some of the things he used to play, and one of the tricks he used to have was, if he was playing match play, he would, even when he was close in a tournament with an opponent who he's playing with, he'd often walk up to his ball in the fairway and the opponent's ball and look at it and think, okay, and set it up to go and play, and the opponent would come up and say, oh, that's my ball, and his would be about 50 metres further on, just to emphasise the fact he was a bigger driver. Those little things, and he'd often stand in their vision, close to their vision on the green, and all those sort of things. So it's interesting reading all those gamesmanship types of tactics.
You don't practice those dirty tactics when you play golf, so do you?
I used to have a few little things when I was playing match play, a couple of champs match play, but it's all good fun, all part of the fun. Anyway, back with part 4 in a moment with our brickbats and bouquets and a few other things as well.
Fourth and final part now of Heads Up, where it's time to give out a few bouquets, multi-question of the week, and touch on a couple of topics. But I think the bouquet, you've got some breaking news, Neil. The bouquet to New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing have just announced a new appointment.
Yes, they certainly have. David Walsh is going to be involved with establishing a new liaison man for recruiting young riders into the industry, which is something we need badly. And he's just the right side to have gone out to do it as well. What does it say here? He says, I'm really looking forward to the NZTR job. I didn't want to leave the industry, and this has come along at the right time. I see he's involved with the Purden stable as well, helping out with paces there. So he's certainly getting himself back involved with racing, harness and galloping, but we need to go out there into schools and pony clubs, he says, to explain what a great industry this is to work in. So ideal job for him, working with the young people in the industry, so that's good to see.
Basically the equivalent to what Noel Harris is doing in the north. I think the official title, NZTR Training and Welfare Officer in South Island. So okay to keep a man of his experience and knowledge within the industry and to pass that on to future generations. And I think you got another bouquet, 2 in a row.
Yep.
The article that you read recently.
Yeah, Johnny Turner in the Otago Daily Times. If you just Google the OTD, he's the only full-time racing journalist in the country, apparently. And he's got a lot of interesting articles he puts up every day. And one there recently about the new betting platform. He's got interesting opinions about that. But I wonder how that's going to affect our turnover. I don't know if it's will affect us too much, but it might help new bettors, younger ones who haven't had a bet before, see a good novelty bet and get them involved in betting as well. Any odd thoughts on that?
Probably not for publication now. we'll just move on from that topic for now.
Right, You got any brickbats or bouquets you want to give out?
No, not that I can think of. Yep. No. But we need to get a listener a $20 multi up. I think with no go last week after a win 2 weeks ago. But how about we do a question on the Waikato steeplechase?
Yeah,
and this one might only appeal to the slightly older listeners. A horse back in 1987 won the Waikato steeplechase. It was trained and ridden by the club president at the time, one Kenny Brown. It was a dashing front runner, much like I think the Big Opal will be tomorrow. It will go straight to the front and they won't know which way it's gone. So we want to know the name of the horse that Ken Brown rode to win the 1987 Waikato steeplechase.
Yep, just email me formpro@formpro.co.nz or text me on 027 352 6402 by 10 p.m. tonight. And if there's more than one, which it normally is, my wife will draw out the names, a name, and that person will get a free $20 multi-bet on tomorrow's races. So looking forward to that and see if they can get one up. Now, something I want to discuss here is our young apprentices coming through the ranks that Walsh will be looking after down south as well, and Noel House does a good job of. Is what are the advantages of these young riders coming through the ranks have for our punting during this time of year? Well, I remember speaking to David Walsh a few years ago about this exact topic, and he said the hardest thing for him is when you see a young apprentice with a 3 or 4 kg allowance up near the pace and you're behind them, because they haven't got to judge where to go. They're normally helped by the riders around them, and so having a young apprentice with a light weight up in front is always an advantage rather than back in the field where they've got to pick out the path and the best part of the track. And Kate Cowan's one of these young riders that are coming through the ranks, and everyone seems to like what she's riding, and the way she sits on a horse too, very quietly, nice straight back, and she looks really good. Do you follow her at all, Money Shot?
Yeah, no, she's done well on a horse that I said would never win another race called Natural. She's proved me wrong there, and you just have to look at the trainers who are putting her on, and obviously they respect her ability. And the thing with why do apprentices do better in winter racing? I think it comes down to that they're not riding as close and as tight, and often you don't have to force your way out of gaps. They just appear because of the horses are spread sort of right across the track, etc. So I would say that has quite a significant impact. It's just that the racing isn't quite so tight during winter.
Yep, definitely a good point. My favourite ones have been like Sam Weatherly's come through the ranks. He's down to 1 kg now, and but he's getting better and better all the time. Good judge of pace. One on that Calligraphy at Tauranga a couple of weeks ago, I remember. Good ride there. So we've got Kate Cowan, Sam Weatherly, Rafi Thirdhouse down south. Really like the way he's riding. He rode that Flying Sardine, I think, for us at Riccarton. Good ride there. And Darren Dennis took a few rides before he got his first winner. But I like the way he rides. He can use the whip in both hands. It sits pretty well. Still gets 4 kgs off, and he's a sort of rider that he'll be down to 3 kgs pretty shortly, I'd say. But over the winter, if you see him on a 53, 54 kg horse and getting 3 off, look very carefully what he's riding. But no, it was good to follow those over the winter. Look out for them, eh?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good time to be an apprentice. Obviously, you get your name out there and you get a few wins and a bit of publicity in the winter, and then you just have to try and build on that as the tracks get better, and possibly you've lost a bit of your claim because you've had a few wins. So, the winter's the time really to make your name as an apprentice, especially when you're starting out.
Yep, you're too right. Okay, well, nothing else we can add before we sign off? Nothing else you want to mention? Hurricanes, how are they playing?
Hurricanes are playing the Cheetahs in Wellington on Saturday. Chiefs Crusaders tonight will be obviously a good game.
What will we do? Yeah.
I think the Crusaders, the way they played last week, I can't see the Chiefs beating them, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of loyal Chiefs fans out there, like our good friend Rangi, who will be very quick to tell me if I'm wrong. But no, it's just just another weekend of good sport, good racing, and might even, if any subscribers turn up to Rotorua on Sunday, you might shout them a lemonade now.
Yeah, I might go on over. If it's a nice day and the forecast looks pretty good. So if you see me over there, just...
Are you going to wear that white cheese cutter hat that you wore on Monday?
Well, it's a lucky one, so I've got to wear it again. Crikey, Dick.
Well, you'll be the only one wearing it. So if any listeners see a guy with a white cheese cutter hat on, you'll know that it's Neil Davis from Formpro.
Yeah. And I said we're going to pick 6 tomorrow too, $100,000 guaranteed, Paul, unfortunately. But I think we're probably due for some terminating pick 6s coming up next month.
They normally wait till about July, don't they, to crank those up?
Yeah, well, even when the draws are on, they start in a couple of weeks, don't they? They're on in a couple of weeks, so usually have a terminating pick 6 then, and then they kick in from there sometimes. But looking forward to those. We'll run a few syndicates on the right pick 6s for those, so that's something to look forward to as well. Okay. Rightio, happy punting everybody, make plenty of money, and go the Warriors. Be nice.